Jean-Philippe Platteau, an economics professor at the University of Namur in Belgium. Hello, thank you very much indeed for your time. Now, when you see those downturn figures for France, is it fair to say that France couldn't really afford to keep lockdown measures in place for much longer?
Yes, I would agree with that. I think that by the end of the year, there will be a very substantial and dramatic recession. And the main point is that the loss of income is unequally distributed among groups and professional groups, etc. And as you know, independent traders, merchants, or whatever, suffer more than others. And so it is an unbearable situation if it lasts too long. And second, there is also a lockdown fatigue. You cannot maintain with the same effectiveness strict lockdown measures as you had during the last months.
Now, as we've been reporting, primary school children are heading back this week to the classroom. Is that a, more than anything, economical decision because it's about sending their parents back to work when older children can look after themselves?
Yes, that's one aspect of it, but maybe not even the most important. The most important is that we know that students or pupils, when they are deprived of school, the level of learning is reduced, is considerably reduced, in fact. And of course, here again, the distributive effect is at play. Some suffer more than others, and those who belong to privileged classes are, of course, more safeguarded against this loss. So something has to be done. But at the same time, it has to be done very carefully, because we still know very little about the degree of infectiousness of the children. Some studies tend to show that they are not very infectious. Some others say they are equally infectious as compared to adults. And the evidence so far is too scant to really make a decision. And so one has to be careful and strictly monitor what is happening and then decide step by step, how you gradually open more schools or classes.
And these steps that are being taken by countries across Europe, they're obviously not all happening in sync. France doing its thing, Italy, Spain, and of course the pandemic hasn't affected each country in the same way. But is it going to be necessary at some point, or at least important, to coordinate to boost the continent's economy as a whole at some point?
Yes, of course, you're right. At some point, it will be very critical even, because if one economy starts and the other does not, since we have very tight trade relationship among European countries, it's important that there is coordination. At the same time, I can understand that as far as lockdown exit strategies, it's important that countries have their own way, because situations vary a lot from a country to another, even within a country, and flexibility has to be shown. I myself have shown that if my own country, Belgium, had the same culture of contact as Italy, we would have to be much more careful than we are in conceiving a lockdown exit strategy. But if we had the German culture of contact, we could be much more relaxed in the way we exit the lockdown. So, culture matters a lot.
That's a very interesting point, and I was going to ask you about the situation where you are. So you compare with Italy and Germany. What about compared to France? How different have the approaches been?
I think, that the approach of France and Belgium are very close. As compared to other countries. So if you follow the situation, there may be 1 week lag, but they're basically similar. We are a little more stricter in terms of meeting of family members. Where France has allowed 10 people to meet, we allow only 4 people to meet, and they must be always the same people. And the reason is that 70% of contaminations to the SARS-CoV-2 is in fact coming from the family meetings. So that's a latest statistic we have. So it shows that really the control of family meeting is a very important ingredient of the way we exit the lockdown.
All right, thank you very much indeed for joining us there, Jean-Philippe Platteau.